Hello and welcome back to the midweek wind down. I'm your co-host James Johnston.
And I'm Joel Val.
And this week we're doing things a bit differently. Rather than doing a topic, we've got an interview and we've got our close friend. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Jacob Robinson.
So do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, Joe?
Yeah, so my name's Jacob Robinson. I am a formerly semi-professional wheelchair basketball player. And in recent years I've gone to university and decided to develop my game a little bit more and develop as a coach.
So Jay, obviously you do wheelchair basketball because you only have one leg. You're amputated from just above the knee. Like, do you want to, in as much or little detail?
What's the name for that? Like when it's one leg? I'm just trying to learn.
Just an amputee.
Oh right, okay.
There's only a word as if you got like both legs missing.
Ah. What is the word for both legs?
Bilateral, or just double. Most people say double.
But so like, obviously, in as much or little detail as you want to go into, do you want to tell us how it happened?
Yeah, so 11 years ago this year, I was in a motorcycle accident with my old man. And we were just on every weekend, go out on a Sunday, go and get some food, see the sights and stuff. And a car just drifted across the white line, hit both mine and my dad's legs as opposed to actually hitting the bike. My foot got jammed in the wheel arch, the car went that way with my leg and I went that way with the bike. So, yeah, it's kind of, that's about as
it's like
you can get with the gore.
So you said 11 years and you're 22 now, so
22,
you're getting to the point where you've lived half your life with only one leg, but obviously the first few years you probably won't remember. So you're at the point where you'll remember more of your life with one leg than two. So it's just your life now, really. Like,
absolutely, yeah. Everyone always says to me, like, would you change it? And for me, no. I wouldn't even think about it.
No, because like obviously like that's something that could very easily be very traumatic, and I don't think anyone would blame someone in your position to fully recluse into themselves. But you've not done that at all. Like, you've kind of really run with it, because I've known Jay for years now. We're very close friends, and you've completely not only just accepted it, but you've lent into it. Like you said, we've said you've got into wheelchair basketball, and you've got a lot of humour about it. Which
I've heard a lot about these jokes.
And like,
a few good jokes.
I think that's something very much to admire, that not only have you just got up and got on with it, but you've really just made it almost I don't know if positive is the right word, but you've made a great thing out of something that could have been so bad. Like what was it actually got you into wheelchair basketball?
Well, as a young lad, I played rugby. So in the first year of secondary school, rugby was a big part of my life. And after I had my accident, I was just, sat around craving something like a sport that was physical and aggressive. And then a teacher at my old school, it's about the only good thing they ever did for me, came up to me and went, there's this event on, and there's multi-sports, wheelchair basketball, this, that, and the other. Go and give it a go and see how you get on. And then I just had a go at wheelchair basketball, totally fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then, that was 10 years ago now. So,
What other sports could you have done? Like you said, it was like a multi-sport like event.
Yeah.
What else like could you have taken part in?
A lot of the sports there were for kids with more severe disabilities. So for me, I'm classed as having a minimal disability, which to most able-bodied people is a little bit alien.
Yeah.
But for someone of my kind of disability, there's the usual athletics. I mean, I'm not exactly the build of a runner. I never have been the build of a runner. Athletics, wheelchair tennis, that's quite popular.
Okay.
Wheelchair rugby league, which I did have a go at for a few years. And
how was that?
I did enjoy it. Yeah, it was good, but it was it lacked the technical elements that basketball had.
Yeah,
That's what really appealed to me, to be able to like really break it down and go through it that way. But yeah, there are a lot of options out there, especially now as we're getting for like amputee football is becoming really, really big.
Oh yeah.
So playing on crutches, and the goalkeeper's got one arm. Brilliant.
Does he have to? Like,
they have.
They have
the
to have
goalkeeper
one arm.
has to have an upper limb disability.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
or if you haven't got one, they have to like tie the arm behind the back.
Are you serious?
Honestly, I'm serious.
Mate.
Yeah, but that was not built like a footballer either, so there was not much chance of me taking that up. And basketball dominated my life for nearly a decade, so there's never really much time.
Because you're a big fan of like the NBA as well.
I love it. Yeah,
anything
basketball, I'll watch anything. Yeah, I've started now as well to really enjoy netball. I don't know if you
really
go. Yeah, it's on Sky Sports Mix now. I think it is. It's amazing. I think basketball players can learn an awful lot from netball, the way they position their bodies and the timings and things like that. Yeah.
Didn't the Great British, they won gold recently, didn't they?
Wheelchair basketball or netball?
In netball.
In netball, yes, at the Commonwealth Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they beat Australia in like the last second.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was. I remember seeing it on think it was a League of Their Own it was on, but yeah, they kept making a point of how it was like constantly like the last second of the game, literally the last throw, and it went in, and that was it. It was done.
So it was unreal. Yeah.
It was. I think is it Gary Neville's sister.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually until yesterday. Yeah, it was someone told me yesterday that they were related. I never scared about the only Neville I can stand, I suppose.
But yeah, so but recently, as you mentioned before, you sort of moved more into coaching rather than just playing, haven't you? Like, what kind of brought that about?
Going to university, really.
Right.
Where I fell in love with beer and cigarettes. That's kind of what. But I mean, I love playing the game, and I'll play the game until my body tells me I can't anymore. But the main idea with coaching is with the young kids that are coming through, to sort of teach them to not make the same mistakes I did, and to seize everything that comes away. Because I had so many opportunities come my way, and I didn't take them for this reason, that reason. There's always some kind of excuse.
Do you think uni was a big reason for that?
Well, no, uni sort of came about towards the end of, because when I started playing with GB and with the juniors, so I never really played a lot, but I got in the door a little bit, played a few tournaments. But the problem for me is it just zapped all the love out of it. It wasn't what I wanted from sport, and that was a big thing for me. And then I came to a crossroads where I could have gone abroad and played professionally, or gone to university. And for me, and I've been in a relationship a long time, I've always made sensible decisions. And for me, university was the best decision that I could have made. Yeah. And I don't regret making that decision at all. Yeah. But I want to sort of get that through to younger kids that are coming through, where you got your whole life to go and play basketball, but one bad injury, you break your shoulder, something like that. I've had bad injuries in the past. That's your playing days over. So I think you have to have that sort of fallback, if you like.
Was that a big reason for choosing university then? And just like, obviously your love for basketball's completely there, but it's also the fear that something could go wrong and it could end in an instant. Like, I've always thought that with sports. Like, I know you'll grow up and you'll love it. You'll want to play it every day. But when it gets to that, obviously I've never got there in anything as like a professional. But like, surely that intensity can start to like wear on you. It kind of takes the love away, because it's what you've gone from playing as a kid just for the love of it to doing it as almost as if it's like a 9-to-5 job. Like you've
Well, the guys that play with the GB men's team now are in a full 9-to-5 job now. They train, I think, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And then they have their own club sessions as well. And that was never for me.
Yeah.
I mean, most people that do now would probably argue that I never would have got that far anyway. But that never really appealed to me. I never really enjoyed when I started getting involved with the big guys, the seniors that were training. The atmosphere wasn't right.
Yeah.
But now the atmosphere is totally different. Like all the guys that I played with at junior level are now in the senior team, and their atmosphere now apparently is incredible.
Oh, okay.
And they've just come off winning the World Championships as well.
Oh, brilliant!
Last year. So if any of them are watching, probably not. Kudos.
But it's one of them where it's like, because I've known Jay years now, like a long time.
Probably nearly 10 years as well.
Probably is getting on that. But I've only ever seen him play wheelchair basketball once, which is criminal.
Last year, wasn't
it? Yeah, last year he came up to Manchester and had a game.
Yeah, he's a rubbish friend.
Yeah. But and it was one of those, like, obviously I knew that Jay played wheelchair basketball. I knew he'd been on Team GB. But then I watched him play and I was like, oh shit, Jay's really good. Of course he's really good. He was on Team GB for a while. It was one of them, because like, I'd never seen you play it, but like it wasn't just that, everyone there was good, like, because there was you and another lad, another 2 lads on your team that were all Team GB, and you could see that you were just leagues ahead.
I remember you saying it was a bit of a bloodbath score-wise.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Yeah. I think the one thing I would say though is you came to see a uni game.
Yeah.
And now in this country, the uni game is really starting to ramp up now in terms of standard, but that year especially, the standard wasn't very good at all. I think we ended up winning that, and I wasn't there for the second day. I went to a wedding. But in terms of in the league, or in like sort of the young players that are coming through now, players my age, I probably wouldn't even make it into the top 10%. Yeah. Maybe top 20. There are some unreal athletes cacking around, especially in the British system. Because that was serious.
I was going to say, I was thinking, watching you, it all looked very effortless, like very kind of simple. And that was one thing that, like, when you first started to tell me about wheelchair basketball, I realised it's like you play at the same height net as the people who are 6'6" high tall and jumping, and you've got to sit in a chair and without legs throw it in. It's like the crazy upper body strength it must take from you.
My girlfriend literally didn't believe that was true. I was telling her yesterday, and she's like she was just constantly like, but how? I was like, well, they can still they're still throwing the ball, like, but it just it. Oh yeah, like, hats off to you. Like
the big one where like I sort of really saw your skill and talent was last year I did a presenting module and we had to interview someone. I got Jay to do that as well because he's got obviously some really good stories to talk about. And then, so we did the interview and we filmed it in a sports hall. And then for B-roll footage, we just had Jay shooting some shots, doing some layups and stuff like that. And then me and the cameraman, James, who was on our gaming podcast, we started just messing around and throwing the shots. And I thought I used to be quite good at basketball. That's all out there. Like I was putting my all into it, like throwing it, and it was like going nowhere near. Whitaker got a couple in, and then Jay would just nothing, just in every time, like just effortless.
Please, can you put the picture of you two sat next to each other?
Right. So we rocked up to this shoot. We're in a sports hall, and because it's about Jay playing wheelchair basketball, we put you in your basketball chair, and they're quite big as they are. They're quite hefty. And Jay's a bigger guy than I am. I'm quite small, and the only chairs we had in the sports hall was this tiny little fold-out chair. So it's got the one shot of me, the one shot of Jay, and then there's a two shot where his head's up here, and I'm just all the way down here, and like the headroom in it's ridiculous.
Did he send you the picture?
No, I haven't seen it. But
I'll throw a shot of it up in the podcast.
I will
it's
need that,
horrendous. But I think one of my favourite moments, like in that just mess around, that was just like. Yeah, he is near the top of his game, was from the halfway line, you just went, Jimmy, this one's for you, and slung the ball straight into a swish. I was just like, that's incredible, and that's something I'll never in a million years be able to do.
I don't think I could kick it that far.
that was crazy lucky, though. I had no idea that was going to
He played it so cool, but you could tell inside he was like, oh my God!
you just know, like, when you're out the room, you're doing it non-stop. Just like, I've got to try it anyway.
we were actually doing some filming for my club. We did like a big promo shoot. And the director came in and went, right, this is what I want you to do. He wanted me to sit with my back to the basket on the 3-point line and just shoot it over my head, because apparently that's what all basketball players can do. And I was like, it's never going to work. He's like, Will, just keep going. Keep shooting it. And I was getting so angry, and I probably shot about 50, 60 shots. I took so many, my arms were dying.
Why was he so adamant for it?
It does, and this is the end of the story, you'll get it.
Oh, right.
And I went, right, do you know what? I want you to do once more, and that's it then, and I'm not doing any more, we'll figure out another way to do it. And you can see in the video, my face is so red, so angry. I want to just hurl abuse at this dog. And I'll shoot it, and my partner Alice has stood behind the camera because she like pretty much ran the whole thing. And she just went, "Did you get that?" To the director. I was like, "There's no way that went in." And sure enough, the last one, when I was super wound up, went in the basket. You find it on Facebook, that video. Actually, it was cool.
That's cool. Incredible, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. It was incredible for the day, honestly.
I thought you were fuming.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But you played, like, as we mentioned, you played for Team GB. Did you ever, like, tour with them and go to other countries and that?
Yeah, I was luckily enough. My first tournament was in Aylesbury in the UK, right, which wasn't a great start really, but it was raining.
Got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere in the middle of the summer, and that was the Europeans. And it's actually quite a funny story how I ended up getting into that team, because initially I didn't make the team. I think it was 2012, so however old I was then. I was a reserve. I was like first reserve, something like that. And I was okay with that. I was happy with that. I was going to go down and watch and whatever. And the guys get there 3 days beforehand. And they're training, warming up for the game stuff, having little scrimmages, stuff like that. And next thing you know, I get a phone call from the coach. And he's like, "We need you to come down and play." And I was like, "What? In the scrimmages and the warm-ups?" He's like, "No, you need to come play in a tournament." I was like, "Why?" And he went, "Well, one of the lads can't play." And he didn't tell me the reason. I was like, maybe he said it was a really good friend of mine, Emmanuel. I've known for a long time, played with him for a few years as well. He's a really good dude. And I was like, "Oh no, I hope he's all right." I was concerned he'd be injured or something. We get to the tournament. My dad throws all the stuff in the car, drives me down, driving like 90 miles an hour, and waiting to get me there on time. And we get there, and I went up to my mate Manny. I was like, "What's the problem?" He was like, "I just totally forgot. I'm Dutch." Right. But in previous years, he represented Great Britain before. But in previous years, it hadn't been a problem because the Dutch had never qualified for a tournament. Right. So they said, because he's technically a British national but has a Dutch passport, we'll let it slide. And then this year, they just didn't think that the Dutch were going to be there. Sure enough, the Dutch were there. And they were like, "Well, he can't play, he's Dutch."
Did you have to go play for them then?
No.
I was going to say, can you imagine that? You're just going to go play for them instead.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a fluke. We still laugh about it now whenever I see him. But yeah, it was sort of a strange way to get your first call up, really.
Because he forgot what country he's from.
Yeah. He forgot he was Dutch. Yeah.
That's incredible. That
it was funny, a strange couple of days, really. Yeah.
So, what position did you play then? I don't know all the positions of basketball anyway.
Yeah.
But
So in wheelchair basketball, it's a little bit different. It's sort of more of a positionless kind of game. We run, say, in the running game, we have forwards and guards. We do the same thing, but back then, when I was younger, I was more of like a power forward, small forward, because I'm not particularly tall, but like quite a big dude, well built, fat, as many of the old coaches used to tell me. And so I used to play as a forward. But these days, the game seems to have just become totally positionless. Whereas now in my club, I play more of a guard role, but I sit bigger, and it's a strange game now. But it's wicked to see, like, you got younger players who are super small and now they are just pushing you all over the place, and it's really interesting now. It's totally changed. Even in my time, like, you look back, like my head coach has been in the game for 30 years, I think, and he's seen so many changes throughout the game, and now it's just, and the pace of the game now is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Is there like any attributes you feel like what's key to being like you said, like the high level? Like what do you need to have?
Patience, I think, is the biggest thing.
Is that where you fell short?
Yeah, I have no patience whatsoever. I think a patience and a good work ethic, really, because you have to work on so many different things in the wheelchair game. And if you're able-bodied, you'd never really think about working on like your deltoid strength, your lateral movement, but your lateral movement when you're still sat in one spot, so being able to tilt either way. But patience, especially because the game is, I wouldn't say slower, it's just different to the running game. You have more time to get your shot off, more time for things to develop. Even though we run the same length of time and stuff as a running game. But yeah, I definitely think patience and the ability to, when something's happening and there's a play on the floor, to be able to think 3 steps in front of it, to see option 1, option 2, option 3, and be able to know in any particular scenario you can get the ball there or here or shoot it yourself. Yeah, I would say patience, definitely.
Is that patience like in the game, or is it like patience as a whole? Like, can it take a while for you to get, like, even if you are really good, like, can it take a while for you to get into the top teams or to start representing your country and stuff like that?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah. I think you're definitely more fortunate if you start as younger.
Yeah.
So you progress through the GB youth levels and stuff like that. There's not many players who say have an injury later on in life who then go on to represent Great Britain, or are born with a disability, play another sport, and then get into basketball. I know one dude that did it. But you do have to be exceptionally patient and being able to, because coaches is the same as, I think the biggest misconception with disability sport is that it's nowhere near as ruthless in terms of team selection and stuff like that. But it absolutely is.
Yeah.
I've been into selection meetings before and been told, too fat, you got shit attitude.
I remember you saying, like, when you were saying, like, you're on Team GB, I was like, oh, does this mean you'll go to Rio? And you were like, not really. I was like, well, how come? And you said it's very political about who does and doesn't get picked. Like, it's not always, like, obviously they're not going to pick you if you're bad, but you also said a lot of the time the decision comes down to who will look good for them, kind of thing.
I think and it's changed a lot now since the coaching team's changed, I think. But in years gone by, it has been a very political sort of organisation, which is a shame, because it means a lot of people who have maybe something more about them, who aren't just sort of robotic and do whatever coaches tell them. And I've never been particularly good at doing what people tell me to do anyway. So that did hinder me a little bit. And I think a lot of the times my passion for the game, and I would get so angry and so worked up when I couldn't perform at my highest level that I knew I could do. I knew I could do it on any day. But when I didn't, I would get so angry, and that would often come across as being, a bit of an idiot, didn't care for his teammates, stuff like that. And that's something I have had to work on over the years, especially since sort of taking a step away from the highest level, being able to be a good leader and a good teammate. And something I feel like I have worked on in recent years and
I guess
improved on.
People surely have got to see that as passion, though. Like, when you don't feel like you're playing your best, it's normal that you can be, like, it's more disappointed in yourself because you feel like you can do a lot better. I feel like that's more passion than anything. I personally, I don't know, other people will differ, but, like, I guess that's what they mean when they say, do you want to come represent your country? That's like, take it literally. You're not representing the team. They want people to represent the country as a whole. But, like, I mean, if you've not got the passion, why do it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was one of the mad things that I found when I went to see you, was that there were people on your wheelchair basketball team that weren't in any way disabled. Like, you had fully able-bodied people on. So it's like that weird thing of, you see them substitute, they come off and just stand up out their chair.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your friend Sam was up playing that day.
Yeah, but he looks more disabled than anybody else on the team. Sorry, Sam.
But like that's the other thing. Is like because obviously in any sport you will have to do quick turns and be nimble. And there were the times in this game where if you spin too fast and go to turn, they just topple out their chair.
Yeah, you got it,
and like because you have to have your legs strapped in as well.
Yeah.
So that there's no chance of anyone jumping out their chair because you're not even allowed to come out your chair at all, are you?
No. If your backside comes up, that's it. Yeah, it's a foul.
If the chair goes over, you're just stuck in it and you will go down with the chair. There's no way of bailing.
And what happens then when you go down? Have you then got to like get yourself back up and then just carry on, or?
Yeah. Unless you're down in a dangerous position.
Yeah.
So like if you fall down in the middle of the key or something, where you could potentially get like a whack in the face or the ball land on you or something, the referee will stop it. But if you fall down in like the mid court or on the defensive end, the referees will just let you play, and then it's up to you then to get yourself up and crack on with the game.
But yeah, you tend to prefer being in your chair rather than crutches or a prosthetic leg, don't you?
Definitely, yeah.
But you're not in your chair, are you today, Jay?
No.
Do you want to tell us why?
The chair is broken. Which chair are we talking about? Both of them.
I was going to say we'll go through the story of both of them.
Yeah, my day chair is broken because EasyJet. That's pretty much the explanation. I went to Amsterdam a few weeks ago, and miraculously didn't get broken while we were in Amsterdam. I mean, but yeah, we get back to I think it was Luton. Yeah, Luton. We came back to. And I was just waiting to get home and get to bed because it had been a long couple of days. And I get back to Luton, and then usually when you get off a plane, if you're a wheelchair user, or well, you're meant to anyway, but in my experience, it's never been particularly good. Your chair's meant to be brought to the aircraft door for you, and then you just transfer onto that, and then you're away.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming down the aisle, and there's just this like horrible chair that looks more like a shopping trolley. And he's like, "We're gonna have to get you in that and take you through to baggage." Oh, okay. So there's just random dude pushing me around the airport, feeling like proper concerned. And I get to the baggage reclaim area, and my chair's there. There's the push rims come off the one wheel, the foot plate's hanging off, and the frame's just bent. Oh, excellent! Yeah, brilliant. How am I going to get home? So I had to get in it and sort of like lean over like that and try and like honestly, it was terrible. For a minimal disability, I looked very disabled.
I've seen videos though, like online, of people who are packing up the plane or taking the bags off the planes, and they just launch it. You've seen them videos?
That's what they do. Yeah, they put your chairs in loose in the hold, so when there's turbulence or anything like that, we had a very turbulent flight. Things just bang into it, and they are hard wearing these chairs, but they're not meant to be like pushed in between things and fall apart, stuff like that.
Because that's what your basketball chair's for, isn't it? That's your more sturdy one.
Yeah, well, that still breaks.
Yeah. How did you break that one, Jay?
I was training in a sports hall near where I live in London or Essex, and this sports hall was probably like 1,000 years old. So the rims were just about hanging up. I love those kind of venues. It's like where basketball's made and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was just having a little scrummage with a few of my guys, and take a layup. And usually in the sports halls we play, there's quite a big runoff, so you can take a layup, and while you get from there to like there, you can turn around and go back. Not in this one, which I took the layup, didn't think of it, and then I looked down, and there's the wall, and it was just like bang, and the front of my chair split. So yeah, not the first time something like that's happened either. There's been some dreadful. Most of the stories.
How long have you got to wait now then to get like?
I'll probably just get my dad to fix it.
Yeah,
my dad fix anything.
That's quite handy.
Yeah, I'll get my dad to fix it. It'll be all right. It's nothing that would stop me playing. So main thing, I'm not too bothered about my day chair because I can use crutches or whatever.
Yeah.
But my basketball chair is like something that has to be in perfect condition, otherwise you can't really perform.
Yeah.
Where it's different to everybody sports is you've got your body and then you go out and do your work. Whereas your chair has to be an extension of you.
Yeah.
Because all the chairs are made to measure and stuff like that, and everything's perfect. And if something's slightly off, you can feel it as soon as you get in. You can feel it's just not right. It's very similar to say like an F1 driver in a car. As soon as something starts to go, you can really notice. Whereas it's not quite as expensive to replace.
But it's like we said before, like you've not only just got on with your disability, you've made a lot of humour out of it. And like I think one of my some of the favourite ones I've seen for yours was you see these videos getting shared on Facebook of like children who get prosthetic limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
There was one where like you might have seen it of a primary school girl had just gotten given a new leg, And she came in and all her friends were like, oh, wow, that's really cool, like, and wanted to look over it. And Jay just shared it with the tagline, all my friends wanted to do with my prosthetic leg was drink out of it. And we did at house parties because obviously
fish bowls,
the stump goes into it. There's a thing. We would make fish bowls out of it and drink out of Jay's leg.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Used to get some serious tangles all because of my leg.
I think one of my favourite bits I've seen you do is we once went shopping in the shopping centre near where we're from, and he was buying shoes, and it's your right leg that you lost, wasn't it?
Yeah, my right leg.
So she comes over and he's like, yeah, I need this shoe in this size, and I was like, it needs to be a left shoe. She comes like, we haven't got any left shoes, but we've got this right shoe, and he goes, it's going to need to be a left shoe. And she went, no, it's fine. Like, if it fits one foot, I know they're a bit different, but it'll be fine. And he's like, I'm really going to need the left shoe. And she keeps pushing till eventually goes, sits back and just spins his prosthetic leg up. So it's like pointing up, taps it, and goes, that's why I'm going to need your left shoe. And she looked mortified, like this poor shop attendant.
I did feel quite bad, but there's only so many times you can ask.
That's the thing, like, she was very persistent about it. Like, she would not let this go.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. Like, on nights out is usually where a lot of, I don't know if I want to say humour, but like moments come with the chair. Like, I think again one of my favourite ones was there's two moments that come from this. One of them I think you might know of because I mentioned it in my stand-up before. But we went out to this night in this nightclub in London. That's the name.
Yeah, capital city.
Yeah, that small little city. Not many people have heard of it. And we get to the club. And the queue's massive, like probably we're talking an hour long. So Jay goes up to the bouncer and he's like, oh mate, come on, like I'm gasping for the toilet. Can you let us in? And the bouncer goes, yeah, right, lets us all in, past the queue. So we're loving that. And then we get in there and on the back wall it says UK's biggest foam party. And we hadn't got a clue about this, but we just thought, it's Halloween, it's London, like we'll just go with it. And it gets halfway through the night and the foam started like getting up towards my armpits. I'm like, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable to be fair. I turned to Jay to be like, are you not finding this uncomfortable? It's up to his chin. You can just see his head and his arm sticking out, just loving life, still dancing in it. Yeah, it was incredible.
That was funny. I just had no idea. I didn't know what was going to happen first, whether I was going to laugh or pass out. I wasn't sure. I couldn't breathe on some occasions. But the funniest thing, and he probably hasn't told you this bit of the story, is when we were trying to get out of the foam, we were like, how are we meant to get out? Because what they'd done, I'd phoned ahead to the coronet, it's called. I think it's closed now. But said, oh, is it accessible? Because, me and all my mates planning on coming down. I don't really want to be getting in and out of my chair, going up and down stairs and stuff. And they went, oh, yeah, it's fine. We'll make it accessible. Phone down. They built like wooden ramps all around the club. And
were they there because...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've never experienced that with a club before, where they go to that sort of...
That's pretty good, to be fair.
It was
That's
really
good of them.
You're a paying customer. I mean, you expect certain things, but not that. But anyway, I wasn't really sure where these ramps were. No one thought to tell me or anything like that. So we end up trying to jump over this like ledge thing to get onto the walkway and walk round. And I get out my chair, we throw my chair over the ledge, sit on the wall, slide over, get back in my chair. And then he stands up, tries to climb over, and his feet just totally go from underneath him. His feet were up in the air, and he just went bang on the floor. And then the foam started to clear, and we were literally 5 yards from the bottom of the ramp, which was about a metre from where we were stood.
It's literally, I remember like my feet hit the floor and it was just so slippery, they just went straight away.
It was brilliant. Those horrible Converse.
Yeah, they got binned that night. We had to then take me into town the next day to buy some new shoes with me because I'd gone to stay with him.
When was this? Is this since I've known?
This was how.
This was
potentially. No, it definitely wasn't because it was when you were in first year.
Yeah.
And I was on my gap year and going to CJ and like experiencing a taste of uni life was what pushed me towards doing that.
2015.
I don't think he's still got grim Converse changes.
Always wears the same outfit. It's the same outfit.
I don't anymore. This is a jumper, it's not a hoodie. I've not got Converse on, I'm wearing trainers.
Where's the zip up in your Converse?
But another great moment that came out of your chair on that night was obviously when Jay goes to the bar, he'll leave his chair behind him, get up and order his drinks. So Jay stood, like the bar's here, Jay stood here, his chair's here, and then we're stood behind him. Obviously it's dark, people are drunk, they can't see the chair. Some guy comes barreling through, thinks there's just a gap between two people, runs and hits his chair, goes over it, doesn't know it's his chair, thinks that like someone's tripped him up. So he stands up, proper looking for a fight, fuming, sees Jay, sees like he's only got one leg, sees the chair and goes, never mind, lads. I just walked off. Like, he looked funny. So embarrassed.
He ran into me, and I didn't really move all that much because I was like stood firmly on the floor. I had my leg in between my chair, so I was sturdy. There's a massive bang, crash back, and he stands up, and he's like proper peacocking. Oh, come on in, lads. And then I looked at him, and I was like, and he went, yeah, sorry, pal, I'm just going to... He couldn't get out there quick enough. That was funny.
But he came like he was going faster than anyone should be going through a club at.
Oh, God, yeah.
But like we said, like the bouncers and the people that worked there were really good for you.
Yeah, they were good, yeah.
You've not always been that lucky. Like when we went snobs, you didn't have such a great experience.
No. Should I tell the story?
Yeah, go for it.
So I can't even remember what we went out for. It was just, I must have just been a
I think it was, just...
Something. And there was a big group of us. There was me, you, my partner Alice, whoever you were with at the time.
Yeah, a couple people from home, a couple people from school.
Yeah, it was a good night. We were having a good time. We did like a little bar crawl, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we ended up at Snobs. And
as all good nights in Birmingham ends.
All good nights ended in Snobs, yeah, or Nightingales. That's always a good place to end. But anyway, and so I'm in a queue, and I really, really, really need a wee, like desperately. And the way Snobs is laid out, have you been?
Yeah.
So you know, like the toilets are upstairs.
Yeah,
There's a disabled toilet, like literally as you go in the door. And I said to the bouncer, I was like, and it's a radar key. So that's what they have nationwide now for disabled toilets and stuff. And I was like, can I have the radar key to use the toilet? And he went, you should have your own. I went, what do you mean I should have my own? He went, you should have your own, you're disabled. And I was like, well, I'm going to swear a little bit. I was like, well, you don't get a fucking welcome pack. You know, when you get a disability, they don't send you like a little envelope with a blue badge, a radar key, and I don't know, comfortable trousers. You know what I mean? That's not what happens. And he was like, man, I was like, if you don't go and get me that disabled toilet key, I'm going to pee on your shoes. I would have done it. I was so desperate. And the manager came down and was like mouthing off at me, and he was like, you think you're entitled because you're disabled and all this. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
The manager was?
Yeah. All I want to do is go and have a pee. That's literally all I want to do.
Snobs have had quite a few issues with them. I think they've cleaned house now.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
all new.
All the management.
What is that? Like some sort of master key for every disabled toilet? What's a radar key?
A radar key is it's essentially a master key. So you get this key, you have to pay for it, but most disabled toilets now in like bars, all Weatherspoons and stuff like that, all the important places have radar keys, and you take your key with you. You can always get in and out of a disabled toilet because usually at bars stuff they lock them, don't they, to stop people using them constantly. Not that it does stop them, but yeah, it is. It's like a master key. It's pretty wicked. But the thing is, though, if you lock a disabled toilet with a radar key, it doesn't always lock. So like if someone else has got a radar key, I've had it a few times where I've been caught and they've come at the door and like, evening. Yeah.
You're not the most patient man when you've had a drink. Are you? No.
Just when I've had a drink in general.
Well, yeah.
Not the most patient. No.
I think one of the stories that I love that you've told me was because his girlfriend's equally doesn't take any shit, especially when it comes to Jay and anyone taking the piss, because her dad's also in a wheelchair, so she's very experienced with it. She knows all about it. And my favourite one was like, I can't remember what club you said you were in.
Snobs.
Was it in Snobs?
I know the exact story you're going to tell.
Oh, okay. And like, so Jay was with one of his other friends who was in a wheelchair, and they were sat.
Oh, no, sorry. That wasn't Snobs. That was a Mayfair club in London.
Which means you've got another story to tell, which we'll get on to.
Yeah, we'll get on to the Snobs one. Yeah, that was a good story.
But yeah, and apparently, like, so he sat talking to his friend.
Yeah.
And did you know the guys?
No.
No. So these randomers are coming past, and then one of them, I think he did it a couple times, didn't he? Yeah. Made a point of stepping over them, like over their legs, and like, oh, sorry, guys. And
I think you've told me about stories where people have just been openly just
arseholes.
Just an idiot. Yeah.
But like, and it was a case of Joe was like, right, I'll leave it. If it happens once more, I'll do something about it. And it happened once more, and he went to him before he could. A blur of his girlfriend just came whooshing past him and was at this guy. Like,
he was.
You think you are?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He was a bad dude. Like he was like hurling abuse, and I'm barred from that club now for some reason.
Well, because of that night.
Yeah, I mean, I did kick off, and I was very, very drunk. I was pushing up and down this street. My Miss Alice will not forgive me for telling this story. I was pushing up and down this street in Mayfair like an absolute moron, just shouting, "Do you know who I am?" Of course, nobody knew who I was.
Of course, no one knew.
I'm fairly sure most of my friends that were there weren't particularly convinced they knew who I was. And
everyone that did know who he was, never seen him before. No idea who he is.
The reason we were at this club, my friend was a promoter, and it was my birthday, and I wanted to spend loads of money for some reason. And we were there, and it was all starting to quieten down. And then my other friend Kieran, who you've met, who's a bit of an airhead, really. We were going to go back inside. Everything had calmed down a little bit. And then my mate Kieran came up to me and went, you know that guy that just kicked off at you in there, Jay? I went, yeah. He went, he's just stood right over there. So then we all just went down the street. We were trying to have it out with him. I mean, he was massive. He would have beat shit out of me. He was huge. He was huge. But yeah, I've had many experiences like that.
I remember you told me once you told me a story once, I think it might have been Snobs, where did someone rub your head?
Oh, that might have been the same night.
Every single night out I go on, in my chair especially, you have so many people come up to you and they're like, oh, well done, mate.
Yeah.
Great work.
Oh.
And it's one of them, they're kind of trying to be nice, but it's just patronising.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point like where you go out, I can deal with it occasionally. But like if I've had even a slightly bad day or something and I'm out and about and someone does it to me, you just sort of like, what does that mean? Like, what are you trying to suggest there? Like, don't leave the house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand it, and it is really patronising. And but it's one of those things, I suppose. I mean, I know people are trying to be nice and stuff, and a lot when people come to you, like, oh, I'll buy you a drink, you don't have to buy me a drink. I'll buy my own drinks.
Yeah.
I'm just in a wheelchair. That's literally it.
What was the other story that you thought I was telling?
Oh, the one in Snobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were there this night. You were there because we spent most of the night together.
Like he remembers any
I was about
night.
to say.
So what happened is we had gone out for Alice's friend's birthday.
Yes.
And we ended up in Snobs, and they all wanted to go upstairs, and I didn't really fancy getting out of my chair and getting
Yeah.
up. So me and you stayed downstairs, didn't we? Do you remember now? And it was 2 for 1 on the San Miguel's, we were getting in all kinds of trouble. And you went upstairs or to the toilet, and Alice came down, they sort of switched. It was like daycare, wasn't it? Look after the spastic or whatever. And so Alice is there, and I got my 2 drinks, but the table's like sort of raised a little bit, and I thought, being drunk, if I grab that and like sort of do that, I'm gonna pour it all over myself. So I stood up out of my chair, and then this girl, like, who apparently we knew, was like trying to take a picture of me, like, because I'd stood up in my wheelchair, and that was amazing. And disabled people don't do stuff, apparently. And the same thing, like a flash. Alice was over there. I thought if the bouncer hadn't got in, she probably would have killed her. Oh yeah, if there's anyone that's more sensitive to like disability stuff than me, it's Alice.
What did you think that you didn't have at least one working leg?
I don't know. They must have just thought, you know what drunk people are like. They must have just thought it was funny, like, you know. And you do get that a lot, like people laugh at you and stuff like that. But it's just part and parcel of it, really. It's just about how you deal with it.
Do you ever have, like, obviously like we said, you've been very good about it. Do you ever get those days where shit like that really just gets to you and gets you down?
Not really, no. Like going back to like when I first had my accident, my mum's a nurse, so like I was never really allowed to sit back and wallow in my own self-pity. So now, no, not really. And being as vocal as I am, or mouthy as some people would put, if something does get on my nerves, it won't put me down, but I will have to say something.
Yeah.
So I had an experience recently. And the one word I don't really like people using about disabled people is the word cripple, like, because it's not really an offensive word. It's an old word. You know, it's an old time word. And I was in my student union, and we'd been at a hockey game during the day. My housemate plays hockey, and one of the lads was hitting the ball in a warm up, and just total freak thing. He's twisted his knee, torn his ACL, his MCL, his LCL, torn the whole thing, nerve damage, and everything. And then this girl in the bar, who shall remain nameless, although I would like to name her.
Do I know who it is?
No,
okay.
No. But she then referred to this guy as a cripple, right? She called him cripple and then his name. And I was like, that's really quite offensive, but, I'm a grown-ass man, I can deal with it. People say bad shit all the time. Realistically, people saying bad things about disabled people is probably fairly low on the radar, really, in the grand scale of things. But it then clocked into me that her degree is like teaching kids with disabilities. And I was like, I've had that word shouted at me in Birmingham as an insult as a kid. Like, that's the kind of word those kids have to deal with on a daily basis. And kids are cruel. Kids are really, really cruel. And she's then using that word to describe a friend who's, had a horrific injury. That's not really on.
Yeah, because like there's always then that chance that she'll say it to these kids.
Yeah.
And like you said, kids are cruel.
Yeah.
They might get it from their peers, which is obviously bad. To get that from someone who is supposed to be teaching you and you're looking up to, that's a whole nother ball game.
Like, because you said it was an old word. Is that her saying it as an insult? Is that her thinking that's what the politically correct term is?
No, that's her saying it as an insult and trying to be funny to someone else.
It's one of them, like, surely if she's on a course where she's taught how to work with kids, she knows all the
No, that's what I was thinking, actually, because you said it was an old word. I didn't know if it was one that's like, some people will say it's still a politically correct one.
For me, her saying that just shows me that she doesn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, if that was my kid who was disabled and I heard like a teacher or someone like that use that word, I would be in uproar. I really would.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had that? Like, have you ever had your parents getting involved like that? Because I've met your parents and they're lovely people, like great, salty other people, but I can't imagine they'd take any shit when it came to
Oh,
their
they don't
kids.
take no shit.
No.
I mean, like I say, like all my friends. I mean, people using that word, like my friends, you like have always called me that sort of thing. You know, as a laugh. And when you know me like that, and I know you're never ever going to mean it in that way, then that's one thing, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But to be honest, no, I never really had many people that I knew or that had come up into at my face and called me like cripple or this, that, and the other. And but if they did, Jesus Christ, yeah, my mum would kick off. Yeah. But no, I was always quite lucky, really, especially with our friendship group as well.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we had a really good clique, and everyone. And it's sort of, I was explaining this to a friend the other day, and it was never really a case of, we never really talked about my disability all that much. You know, it was never.
No.
It was just, it happened one day. We got over it. Went down the pub. That was pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had people like where they either meet you or they find out that I've got a friend who's only got one leg, and they'll ask like a question, and I'll be like, "Oh, I never thought about that, to be honest." And like, is that not? How have you not asked that before? And I was like, I don't know. It's just it's one of them. It's like you're just Jay. That's who you are. We don't think of you as you're Jay with one leg. Like it's just. I think part of that might be because I've always known you.
Yeah.
After your accident, I didn't really know you before.
Yeah, we didn't really know each other before, did we?
But bit of a gear shift. Speaking of Ho playing hockey, you got a bit of. You went to watch one of his games recently, didn't you? And got a bit more involved than you thought you would.
What a stinker. So it was just like this friendly. Well, he wasn't even there. I just went to have a watch, and they only had the players that were on the pitch, right?
So they didn't have any reserves there.
Yeah, nothing.
Or substitutes.
And then what happened was one guy got injured, just like a little trivial thing. So he came off and got no subs. For some reason, the referee wouldn't let him play a man down. He was like, "You need a man," because I was sat like on the bench. You must have thought I was some. I mean, look at me. Do I look like a hockey player? And so the captain came up to me and was like, "You're gonna have to strip up." I was like, "No, not a chance. You're gonna have to." So I ended up with this kit on. It's about 3 sizes too small. I look terrible. Look like Mike Bassett, England manager. I look terrible. I'm like pouring out of it and whatever. And I'm like stood in the middle on my crutches, just like that. And the ref comes up to me and goes, "Where's your stick?" I'm like, "Are you serious, man? I'm gonna have to." It's not bad enough that I've got to stand here and the other team are laughing at me. I've got to stand here with a stick and try not to get hit by a hockey ball. Well, that just sums up my uni life, really. Me and a kid that doesn't fit playing sport, don't really want to play.
that has to verge on cruelty or some kind of bullying.
It was funny though. You got to admit, if you were there, you'd have found that really.
I would have found that brilliant.
Yeah. That's one of the various sporting stories I've got that have caught me short.
Have you got any other come to mind that you want to tell?
Oh, I've got loads. What's the line of appropriate? Is there a line?
You go, and if you cross it, we'll tell you and we'll cut it out.
No, it's not that rude. It's just in context, it's quite rude. We went to a tournament one year in Milan. It was really, really cool. And we get to the hotel. I'm sure I must have told you this story before. We get to the hotel, and they're like, "No, the wing you guys meant to be staying in isn't open." I was like, "Right, okay, that's strange. So where are you going to put us?" They go, "Oh, we got you another hotel. It's fine." And this hotel we went to be staying in was a big plush hotel. Like it was a Euro Cup competition, so like our equivalent of the Champions League, stuff like that. And so we get to this next hotel, and it's like a proper dive, like a 2-star Airbnb kind of thing.
Oh.
And how pretentious was that? A 2-star Airbnb. So we get there, I'm like, wow. But we get into reception, and there's loads of these like interesting business cards on the reception with very scantily clad women. So we're like, Jesus Christ. We're like, right, come over. So we get our key, me and this other dude. We go up to our room. We open the door, and the bed is shaped like a love heart. Seriously, the bed is shaped like a love heart, and there's mirrors on the ceiling.
Oh
right.
my god!
So you can imagine the kind of establishment we were staying in. It begins with a B, ends in an L. Yeah. And, we were there, and I thought, wow, we're gonna have to sleep in this and look at each other, and oh, Jesus Christ. So then we thought, let's just stick the telly on try and drown out, the misery of staying in this hotel for a week. Turn the telly on. Yeah, for a week. Yeah. Turn the telly on. You can imagine what was on the telly. 24 hours, and I'm in graphic. It was not good at all. It was not good at all. So then we thought we might as well make some light out of it. So we went into our coach's room, put the telly on, full whack, took the batteries out of the remote, hid it. He was furious, absolutely furious. Yeah,
that's incredible.
That was one of my first tournaments abroad, actually. So what an experience to start with. Staying in an interesting establishment. Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier on about obviously having a good group of friends, you could like crack the odd joke and it's absolutely fine. Has that made it easier overall? Like from when the accident happened? Because I know a lot of people say, I know a lot of comedians say if you can't laugh at yourself, then what's the point? Has it made it easier being so comfortable that you can crack jokes, your mates can crack jokes with you, and just being able to laugh in general? Has that made it so much easier to?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've always had like good crack, laughing between us. Like we always laugh at James's hairline. That's the main.
So do we.
That's
just everyone. Even my dad.
I might have a disability, but at least I got a full head of hair. You know what I mean? But no, it definitely has made things easier. Like you say, you can't laugh, you'll cry. There's been many situations in my life where, I felt like sometimes you're like, God, I wish I could do that, and then you're like, realistically, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Like, and then ever since I turned probably 15, 16, I've never had a day like that ever since.
Yeah.
Ever, really. And that just goes to show, like, I think it's a synergy between having a great group of friends and playing a disability sport. Like, it really gives you perspective.
Oh, that's incredible to fair. Like, go that long and not even have a single day. But like I said, I've known you for one. You have got a really good support system around you. Like, I don't think I've ever met a single friend of yours where I've like, oh, he's a bit of a knob. Like you, I think
that's because it's you.
I'm that friend. Like good people just seem to gravitate towards you. You've got a great support system with your family. Like I've known your girlfriend longer than you have. Like 'cause we went to school together. She's great. Like she'll always support you. But I think like it's just a testament to you've never. I feel like you've never been on your own through this journey, which is really nice.
I know you said your mum's a nurse.
Yeah.
How like beneficial was that from the minute it happened to?
Yeah, hugely, yeah. So my mum was a district nurse, so she worked mainly with old people, but a lot of old people exhibit the same kind of like symptoms that trauma victims do. So in terms of like pressure sores, this, that, and the other, like sutures splitting and stuff like that. So whenever I had a problem, I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. I just asked my mum for some help. Yeah. And that even runs through now. Like if I have an issue now, I'm like, Mum, this is happening. I need this, that, and the other. And it just meant that I could be out of a toxic hospital environment because hospitals like they mollycoddle you and don't get out of bed today.
Like you were in hospital for a while, weren't you?
Oh, it was awful. Like I went when I was diagnosed with diabetes. I was in A&E for a few days, and it was I'd not long turned 16, I think, and then they put me in this room with 3 other people, and all these men were like 80s, 90s, and it's like it sounds bad to say, but they were almost there to die, and then just me sat in the corner like, oh god, it's one of them, like because you were able to stay at home. I'm sure that was
it was definitely it just meant I got back into things so much quicker. I was in hospital 6 weeks after a traumatic amputation, which
that's quite a quick turnaround.
It's not long at all. I mean, I had some serious infections as well. Like I had gangrene and all sorts, like these ancient infections.
What's like a long, like, because 6 weeks to me sounds like a long time. What? Because you're saying it is a short time. What's like the usual time then? If 6 weeks is so short,
it all varies based on your accident. Really, I know a lot of spinal injuries were in hospital for months at a time. Trying to get back to some kind of normal level where they can function.
Yeah.
But for me, like I was very lucky. I didn't have too much internal damage or anything like that. So yeah, usually months. But like I got to about 6 weeks, and I was like, well, that's it. I'm out. Yeah. I'm going home. Yeah. But yeah.
Speaking of like you and sort of like the older generation having similar symptoms, this is another one that when Jay told me, I was like, oh, like that's brilliant. For whatever reason, some of them on the basketball team need to have catheters just so it's easier for them to go to. Do you know what a catheter is? It's like a pipe that goes all the way up your knob into your bladder, so you can then pee out the pipe. It makes it easier. Like you'll have them in hospitals and certain like old people's homes, so they don't have to get out of bed to go. But like obviously, when you're done with it, you take it out and you're supposed to throw them away. And they got given a notice because they used to train at a sports hall that was attached to was it high school?
Yeah,
a high school.
It was, yeah.
And they got given a notice saying, right, lads, if you're going to take your catheters out, please make sure you bin them, because some of the boys at the school have found them and started whipping each other with them, not knowing what they were.
To this day, that story kills me. I remember getting the email, and I've not done finished school myself. When I got the email, I was like, I just had this image in my head of these like teenagers just getting catheters out the disabled toilet, and just like musketeers like fencing with them around the school. Oh, it was just brilliant. I could not stop laughing. I thought that is absolutely superb.
That's incredible.
I put a message out in group chat. I was like, keep up the good work, fellas. Keep stuff like that coming.
That's the thing. Like I said, I've known Jay for a long time, and I've known Jay all through, obviously post 18 where we could go on nights out, but all those house parties that you've heard about me having when I was sort of 15, 16, Jay was at them as well. And I think one of my favourite. Literally, like, I remember it was my 18th, and it was when stuff had happened, and I couldn't invite home friends because of certain issues going down. So I just got college friends, and I was walking to pick some of my friends up from the station, and I called Jay, and I was like, Jay, I just really wish you were here. I'm sorry I couldn't invite you. I just wish you were here. And he was like, cheers, Jimmy, but
it's my way home from training.
I wasn't invited, so that's why I'm not there.
Yeah, you didn't invite me. Yeah, that was.
But like, I think one of my favourite moments of when you were there was walking into my front bedroom. You've seen it,
yeah.
And one of our other friends just had him cradled in their arms like a baby, just wiping a beard of sick off his mouth, just cradled, just like, "Yeah, it's okay."
It was bad.
Okay.
And that night is actually the first night I ever met my now partner of 5, nearly 6 years. Yeah. That's a funny story.
At least she saw you in your worst drunken state from the start.
Well, I don't remember. anything. I got there late. I remember getting there late and had to play catch up and got through about a bottle of vodka in an hour.
Oh, but yeah.
And then the morning after was probably the funniest, as they were all sat around the kitchen table laughing and joking about how much of a tit I'd made of myself. And one of them went, "Oh, wouldn't it be really funny if we went into the front room and just found Jay's false leg on the floor and not Jay?" And then sure enough, they went in the front room and there's my false leg on the floor, still with the jeans round it. And I'd only brought one set of clothes, still with the jeans round it, just on the floor. And they were like, "Shit, where's he gone?" So, I mean, your house is a good size, but it's not like enormous. Like I can't really got lost in your house. And they were like, "Well, he must be here somewhere, just in his pants." And they're just looking for. I'd got these horrible red pants on that I must have had for about 10 years. It was ridiculous. I'm just like hopping around James's house, trying to find somewhere to throw up and have a bacon sandwich at the same time. It was awful. I was just covered in my own sick. Yeah, not great. And that was the theme, really, being covered in my own sick for the next several years.
Yeah, but I've outed you for that one, so we'll go ahead and give one of mine. Jay's not the only person who's made a bit of a tit of himself when we're together. So we fairly recently, like this is since I've known you. We went out to this club down in London. Yeah. I'll tell it for the podcast. But so we're fine. I join quite late. I drive all the way from Manchester down to London. We're having this house party. It turns into a night out. Fine. Drinking drinks, no problem. Jaeger bombs come in. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not really a big shot person, but you know what? I'll try it. I can usually handle Jaeger bombs. Drink it, no problem." I'm like, "Good night. If I can do a Jaeger bomb, this is a good night. No problem."
But you can't do shots.
No, I'm not a shots person. And then I still maintain it wasn't. Oh no, okay. Before that happened, so we then sat on this booth that curled round, and then the chairs that were on this side backed out onto the dance floor, and I thought it was one long row. And I remember literally looking and be like, "This is a really good night." And sitting in the chair and going, "Yeah." And sitting back in it, turns out they're not one long big row. They are each separate. The chair goes back and I literally rolled arse over tit, fell over and just was spurled on the dance floor. I was like, I don't know what's going on. Literally it just happened so quickly, but the night only took a worse turn from then, from which point Jay goes to the bar to get drinks and he comes back, he's like, "Oh guys, I've got Malibu and pineapple." And I was like, I can't stand coconut, so I'm like, I'll drink it, it's fine. Just get through it, it's fine. it's not fine. And I sit there and I'm like, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. I can hold it and I can't. I'm just sick. All in this booth, like what I think's on the floor. Then go to the toilet. And like Jay's friend, to be fair to her, I think it was Sam, was like, it's all right, don't worry. Just get yourself to the toilet. It's fine. No one noticed. So I go to the toilet and I'm wearing a t-shirt with a shirt over it. Both come off. T-shirt has to be binned. It's covered in sick. I just button the t-shirt up and I'm like, right, I just need to send myself home. There is absolutely no chance that no one noticed. Like, it was everywhere.
God, no. Everybody noticed. He just said that to make you feel better. I love how you put that on not liking coconut. You were as pissed as a fart. That's why you threw up in that booth. It's got absolutely nothing to do with coconut. You just drank way too much.
I don't know what you mean.
If we're on, I might as well out myself for a drunken story.
Go on, we'll all do it.
Like you say, this is the first time you met your girlfriend now.
House, yeah.
The first time I met my girlfriend, we've been speaking for about a month and a bit, I'd say. It's like start of December, and then this was in January when I first met her, when I finally first met her. And nervous as anything, never met her in person or anything. And so I got to the bar early, had a couple of pints before she got there, to, get the confidence going. And then she arrived, and I was like, Mr. Billy Big Bollocks. I was like, yeah, every round with shots, tequila, and all that. And this happened all night. We both spent a lot of money on the first date, and then she was like, "Oh, all my mates are going fifth. Shall we fifth circle in
like
Manchester?
Snob.
But it's like 90p drinks." And she was like, "Oh, we'll go there, meet my mates." I was like, "Yeah, sound." Like I was steaming, but I was like, "No, I'll carry on. I'll go along with it. I'm sober. I'm sober at heart." And so we get to the club. We're there, and I'm absolutely steaming. And then she disappears, and very much she introduced me to her mates, like when we first got there, and then she disappeared. I didn't know where she was, and then her best friend of about 16 years comes over, and because I was that drunk, I'd forgotten who they all were instantly, and she only said hi, Joel, and I just assumed she was trying to graft me. So I'm there going, nah, you not for me, and then so. First 10 minutes, I pissed off her best mate, and then next minute I know she comes back. Oh no, sorry, no, she came back, and then she went again. I think she went to the toilet, and then people are saying, "Let's go to the dance floor." So I've gone to go to the dance floor, stepped on, and within 2 steps of the dance floor, just decked it like face first into the floor. And then next minute, I know I'm being carried out by bouncers. So first time I met her, she disappears for 10 minutes. I get kicked out of the club because I'm that drunk. But literally carried out of the club by these bouncers and just kind of put on the side of the road. And then, 15 minutes later, she comes out and goes, "Do you want to go home?" I'm like, yeah. And we've been together since. So it couldn't have been that bad.
How true romances begin.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's like you've got similar stories how you and Alice met. Like you met at house parties. If I remember rightly, you were sick on her, like, maybe the second house party we were at together.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
And they're still together, like, there's something to it.
Yeah, there was a running joke, actually, that when I finally proposed to her, I was going to have to swallow the ring and throw that up as well. that was the running joke for a few years, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, we've had some great stories. Before we finish, because we're getting towards the end, like, what would you say has been, like, your career highlight, like a moment you'll always remember from your basketball career?
My career highlight? Oh, there's so many, but represent your country is always a big thing. Always a big thing. And actually getting and putting that vest on, singing the national anthem before a tournament's always wicked. But I think it's I've always been a big fan of like small successes.
Yeah.
So getting my club, Warwickshire Bears, into the Premier Division in this country was a big thing for me, and it meant a lot to me that the club could get there. We got there with our own players, not like people we brought in and stuff like that. And then hitting a game winner against my old club was probably. Just probably up there. That was awesome. Yeah.
Just as one last one before we end, just because we usually do like a would you rather.
Oh yeah.
And I brought in a quick one of like, so would you rather win? What's the big one for
in wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, like what's the
Paralympics?
Paralympics. Would you rather win? Do you win gold? Yeah. Win gold at the Paralympics as a player or as a head coach?
Ooh. That is a tough one.
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Thought about that about 10 minutes for the podcast.
I think for me now, as a coach.
Yeah.
I think I love coaching so much. I really do. I love for me like being able to understand the game is not something I've ever struggled with. I could always understand basketball always, and the technical sides of things, but I could never really implement it as a player for whether it be in my build or this and the other. But no, definitely, I think probably as a coach, as great as it would feel to be a player winning that medal, because ultimately the players do the hard work.
Yeah.
But as a coach to be able to say you put those 5 guys out there and they went out there and won a gold medal.
Yeah.
You know, that must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
No, that's really great. Thank you.
Lovely
Like,
stuff.
yes, well, yeah, we'll round it up there. Jay, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
It's been an
Thank you.
absolute
Really
pleasure.
enjoyed
Cheers.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks very
And
much.
thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you soon. Cheers.